I was at my suburban gym in Sydney. It was breakfast television, and on every single network, every single person on screen was of an Anglo background. When I looked around and saw all these different languages being spoken and colours, I thought, there is this enormous disconnect.
Losing touch with...
We created Media Diversity Australia because every time you turn on the TV, every time you open the newspaper, you could see that there were people who were excluded from the national conversation. These communities, a lot of them where English is spoken as a second language, don't trust or engage with mainstream media because there's nothing for them there.
Indigenous people are so used to seeing our presence in the media as being a negative one. We're constantly told that we're a problem, that we're just an issue that needs to be fixed.
That's part of our mission, to re-engage with these communities and place more trust in the institutions of journalism. My very first concern was to identify how big the problem was. And we really needed to have the data to back up our mission.
2 weeks the news here.
Thousands of people left with nothing.
Media Diversity Australia went out to do research, partnering with 4 universities and Google and the Journalism Union. We examined television specifically. Some of our key findings were that every national news director was a white man. Some networks had 0 Indigenous representation or less than 1% non-European representation. It was just so out of touch with the Australian population. It was the first time a report card was presented to the industry, and so it made a lot of people uncomfortable.
I think that Australia finds it quite difficult to face up to the fact that we still do have a problem with racism in this country, particularly for media outlets who have for so long been happy with the status quo. It's been quite comfortable to function in the way that they have.
When we did come out and release the research, it was huge for Australia.
Since then, there have been 2 female news directors appointed. One is a woman of colour. That is the first time in Australian television history that a woman of colour has headed up a newsroom. We now have an Indigenous person at 4 of the 5 breakfast television offerings, which was honestly unthinkable about 5 years ago. Google has allowed us to demonstrate the importance of the work we do, because now that we have a benchmark, we're able to measure progress. We can see what's working and what hasn't worked.
It's not just a token thing to have some more black or brown faces on TV. It actually will have long-lasting effect on the way in which this country thinks about itself, and the impact that that can have on communities is really powerful.